Hello, ladies. For those of you that don't know me, my name's Angela. Welcome so much to my YouTube channel, Angela Simpson Functional Medicine. And I just want to let everyone know the reason that I'm here bringing you content. I'm a functional medicine practitioner, healthcare professional, and I have been working in the field of women's health for over 20 years. And I have a passion for helping women, especially females in the age group from 35 and beyond, that are starting to have changes to their hormones and are wondering what the heck is going on. And they want to understand how they can help themselves feel better, both now and for the long term. I help them learn what is going on, where the symptoms are coming from, and how you can develop a plan to naturally rebalance your hormones and feel like your best self again for the long term versus just managing symptoms, trying to get by, doing these one kind of quick fix, one hit wonders, and hoping for success. And I've tried all those things myself. I've also suffered from hormone imbalance on and off for most of my life. Luckily, I do understand for me now what's causing it. And I know the things that I need to do to keep my hormones balanced. And you may or may not be at this point yet. And so I did want to bring to you today something that I know is very common for females as they get into their mid to late 30s and beyond, leading up to that transition into menopause. And that is heavy periods or heavy bleeding. And I know this can be very, very debilitating. It can be to the point that you're at work or you're at a function and, you actually notice that there is leaking and you have to run to the bathroom, you have to run out of the room, you have to do, what you need to do to take care of things. And it's a pain in the neck. It's embarrassing, especially if anyone kind of understands and knows what's happening, but you don't want to know or understand what's happening. If you're at a function, for example, obviously if it's like a close family member or friend, you're going to be probably hopefully comfortable to let them know what's going on. But either way, there's no doubt that it's going to influence your life. It's not fun. It's not something you want to have to deal with. And it's very disruptive to your life. Not only that, but it also can cause symptoms of fatigue, brain fog, feeling very, very low in energy leading up to, and especially during and even the recovery time after having a really heavy period. Some women will have heavy periods that last anywhere from 7 to 10 days or sometimes even longer. I spoke with someone who is getting closer to menopause. She's in her late 40s, and she said she just had a 21-day period and she's just so exhausted from it. And of course, this makes sense, right? And so we need to be thinking, if this is happening for you, is this just a natural consequence of aging, or is there something else going on? Is there an imbalance that, if you understood where the imbalance was coming from, you could actually learn how to get an answer to this imbalance and start to lighten up that flow, have it become more consistent so it's not a pain in the neck. You don't know when it's going to happen, how heavy it's going to be, and how inconvenient it's going to be to your life. And it can help you to lead a normal everyday life every day of the month versus just a select time period when you're not having those heavy bleeds. So there is a way to get to the bottom of this. And I do find for most women, what they need to do to understand what's going on, one of the initial things is they need to do the proper lab testing. So this does involve testing your hormones to understand what the levels are, if they're balanced or out of balance. And it actually does involve going a little bit more beyond that, even more specifically, to understand how are the hormones being processed and utilized in your body. Not only is one high, one low, one in balance relative to the other, is one really out of balance, obviously flagged or out of alignment with where it should be for your age, but how are they all balanced and how are they working inside your body? And this does involve doing some functional lab testing, something that actually is over and above doing some basic blood labs with looking at your hormones. So as a functional medicine practitioner, I'm able to requisition these labs and get them done for you. And it does help both me and you, if we did decide to work together, what your next steps would be for starting to get the balance back in your body. So that's the first step, is to really start to know and first understand, what don't you know about what's happening with these imbalances, and what do you need to do to find out how to actually get a plan in place that's going to help these symptoms start to resolve. And then the other thing is, it's important for women, I think, to also understand that even though the hormones and understanding what's happening with the levels and the processing of the hormones is very, very important, equally as important is understanding why are the hormones out of balance in the first place and leading to the symptom of heavy bleeding? Because often women have no idea why this is happening. Many women will assume it's just part of the aging process. Some women have bad luck. Some women might have some genetics where they're just more prone to these kinds of things happening. And although some of those things might be somewhat true, typically there is a reason beyond just the hormone levels why you're having these particular issues going on with the heavy bleeding. It could be long, could be irregular, could be, of course, greatly inconveniencing your life and affecting how you feel. So what I find is the next step beyond doing hormone lab testing is for a functional practitioner such as myself, who works in this area with women specifically, to understand what other systems of the body are out of balance for you and probably have been for many, many years, that are actually contributing to the hormones becoming out of balance in the first place. Because it's never going to be just about aging, because not every female suffers from heavy bleeding as they approach that transition towards menopause. And even further to that, you may be a female that suffered from these symptoms long before this, and you may have suffered from them on and off your whole life. I know a woman I was on a call with last week said to me she suffered with these symptoms since she was 16 years old, and she's in her 40s now, and she's really never found a solution. So we need to go beyond the hormones. We need to understand what's happening with the systems of your body. And again, this does involve working with someone such as myself, a functional practitioner that's going to piece all of the things together for you to understand why this is going on. Most typically, there are imbalances in the gut, in the liver. These are some of the primary detox pathways for our hormones, and they're actually backing up the hormones. They're not being processed correctly. And this is a big part of why the hormones are out of balance. But the only way to discover this is to work with someone who's going to take a very specific history and understand your potential for this. And it could have started way back from when you were a child. It could have even been related, believe it or not, to things like antibiotic use of antacids, use of steroid medication for various different illnesses, conditions. All of these things can have an impact on our gut health and actually influence how our body processes and utilizes hormones. So we have to understand where we're starting from first, and we have to look at the whole picture of where your health is now, not just zone in on the hormones and try and rebalance the high or the low. So this is the next step that's absolutely essential for you to understand how to get a plan in place to help you rebalance your hormones and heal your body for the long term. And then the third step is to be committed to change. So, and also being committed and open to the understanding and idea that it's going to take more than just adding a hormone that's low and bringing it up. It's going to take more than going on a medication to help you subdue your symptoms and just try and manage and get by. If you really want to get yourself back to optimal energy, optimal wellness, feeling balanced with your moods, and really feeling like you're not having that inconvenience, that real pain in the neck 4, 5, 20 days out of the month because of this heavy bleeding and because your hormones are out of balance. So those are the top 3 things that I see that if women are willing to look at those top 3 issues, start to understand what's going on with their body and what the steps are that are needed to start getting the balance back, then you can actually start to heal from this heavy period symptom that may or may not have been plaguing you for many, many years. Unfortunately, if you're not that close to menopause, if you are in your late 30s, early 40s, it is possible you can have to deal with this, and it could even get worse over the next 5, 10, 12 plus years. So it's something that you do want to deal with now, because if your periods stay heavy and you are losing a lot of blood, albeit not nice to talk about, you'll also start to get low in certain minerals, especially a mineral called iron, which you may be familiar with this if you have had heavy periods for quite some time now. And this can start to affect other aspects of your health. And so it can even actually make your immune system more vulnerable and potentially make you more prone to developing certain conditions and diseases. So it's really not something that you can just leave and hope that it's going to improve when you actually start to transition into things need to be dealt with now, or you could be at risk for other conditions or diseases as well. So I hope this helps you. I hope you have a better understanding now of why you potentially could be having these heavy periods, and more importantly, what you need to look into to discover why the cycles are so heavy and how you can get the answers. And if you want to learn how you could do that, you can definitely connect with me, and you can go to my website, www.angelasimpsonfunctionalmedicine.ca, and I'd be very happy to have a complimentary consult with you to talk about this and how we could potentially develop a solution for you for long-term rebalancing of your hormones, so you don't just necessarily cover up and mask and get rid of the symptom for the short term, but you actually rebalance your body and really restore your overall wellness, your vitality, that zest for the long term. And that's really the purpose and the goal for why I'm working with females just like you. I hope you'll check out this, not only this YouTube video, but more YouTube videos to come as far as how to rebalance your hormones naturally. And also you can go and check out my website, and there's definitely plenty of information there, including my YouTube videos as to topics of interest for hormone rebalancing for females in their mid 40s, 50s, and beyond. All right, take care, and thanks for watching. Bye for now.